Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. This one is the next one. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is absolutely true and factual. What's up, Ideal? How you doing tonight? Doing well. Very chill day with zero brain usage. Very much how you like it. Hey, that's how you like it. Sounds like a great day. Any day in which you can simply exist with zero thoughts in a day is a good day. I'm okay. just recovering after work as per usual with these nighttime streams. Honestly, today was pretty... Honestly, this week has been pretty easy. It's been a slow week. Which I'm grateful for, because I had a shorter weekend before it because of scheduling, so I'm glad it turned out fine. Of course, the next few weeks are gonna start ramping up, especially Thanksgiving week is gonna be nightmare mode. So that's gonna be fun. It's okay. I'll get through it. Hopefully. Yeah. Due to the nature of my work, Thanksgiving and Christmas are going to be super busy. I mean, honestly, most places are much busier around the holidays, especially like the day before the holiday itself. Thankfully, we're closed on Thanksgiving Day, which is really nice. I actually only learned that today. So, I'm very grateful for that, which apparently hasn't always been the case, so... But I mean, the day before Thanksgiving is going to be much busier, I would imagine, anyway. At least from what I understand, Thanksgiving Day can be really busy, but not as busy as the day before. Because, like, the day of, people are already, like, traveling or, like, at the place they've traveled to by that point. So there's not as much demand the day of. Because a lot of people travel on Thanksgiving. Which, by the way, I don't know how that's going to work. Because my government is currently shut down. And we are not paying the air traffic controllers currently. And if that continues, they might legitimately quit before the busiest time of the entire year for traveling. Which would be absolutely insane. And self-inflicted, by the way. US airspace was shut down or something. I'm not sure on that, but what I do know is that every major airport is basically ramping down travel because they literally don't have enough air traffic controllers because, you know, people aren't getting paid. The fact that any are even working at all at this point is truly unbelievable. But yeah, pretty much every major airport has had to stop like most flights because of that fact. So if this doesn't stop soon, we might be headed for one of the most disastrous holiday travel season ever. And again, entirely self-inflicted. It didn't have to be this way. The air traffic controllers aren't the one who decided to, like, not get paid. It's the government. By the way, the same government that got completely owned in the elections a few days ago. Off-season elections. They literally lost everything. Across the board. So, yeah. Very nice. Very cool. Yeah, dude. There was pretty much a left-wing swing in across nearly the entire country a few days ago on the off-season elections. I mean, of course, the biggest and most famous one is the New York mayoral race going to the Democratic Socialist instead of corporate shill or random right-wing guy. So, but dude, you have no idea. Pretty much, no, I think literally every major race that happened a few days ago literally went to the Democrats. It was literally a wipeout. That's true, Goink, that's true. They're currently just delaying the flights, but you're scared because your girlfriend's from the travel right. Yeah, dude. Like, if this government shutdown doesn't let up, I don't think there's gonna be any traveling on Christmas. Like, I don't know what's happening or what's gonna happen rather. Like, how long they're gonna keep this shutdown going for. It's already, if it hasn't happened already, it's gonna be the longest government shutdown in US history. Followed by the second longest shutdown in US history under the same guy. It's already the longest by a day or two now. Jeez. The two-time Donald Trump. Longest government shutdown under his watch. Anyways, aside from that, how you doing, Dedro? Welcome. What can that entail for the US? The people are angry. Even people in really red counties flipped blue. Or shifted a lot to the left in general. It's not looking good so long as the midterms are free and fair, which dubious. We'll have to see. But if a few days ago was any sign, it might legitimately be too much momentum to rig if it actually ends up consistently shifting that hard. Oh yeah, it's literally been over a month. Yeah, it's true. And by the way, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, literally has the power to swear people in day of or the day after. Like, other Republicans have literally been sworn in the next day after winning. Like, there's no actual reason, aside from politics, to not swear her in. Yeah, very convenient timing. Yeah. Well, yeah, but currently they're ignoring the courts. The courts literally told Trump, you have to release the SNAP funds. You know, the money that's used to feed poor people. 40 million people are not getting their money from the government because of the government shutdown. Even though they have the power, despite of the government shutdown, to release that money, they're still not doing it, and they're literally ignoring a court order to release the money now. And they're probably going to try and keep doing this until they literally can't anymore. I say let them continue. If the elections a few days ago are any sign of how fed up the American people are already of this regime, they are going to get, as one of my favorite political commentators says, they're going to be barbecue chicken. Seriously though, like, they are choosing to be evil. They literally don't have to do it that way, but they're going to do it that way because they love hurting the average American. watching the US go into complete disarray is baffling. It's one of those things where we were slowly declining, but then they decided to elect an accelerationist to just completely dismantle everything as fast as they possibly can. Literally, the only thing that could possibly stop them is the people voting against them so hard that they have no choice but to step down. Or, if that doesn't work, then the people have to take matters into their own hands. And that's not going to be pretty. The SNAP benefits being paused affects you and your mother? Yeah, like, it's literally like a tenth of the entire population of this country relies on SNAP. And yeah, I hope you guys are doing okay despite that. It's terrifying how much they are willing to hurt the average person for their own political gain. Literal, just like normal people like yourself and your family. I mean, my family was on SNAP when I was really young. Like, SNAP is a great program. Oh yeah, I mean, not just big families, but the like truly impoverished, like literally relying on this every single month. The thing is, it's intentional not to release SNAP funds. They're just forcing people to protest so they can apply an insurrection act. Yeah! They are trying to rile up the people in order to invoke the Insurrection Act or martial law, whichever tool they want to use. The only hope I have is, again, because of the resounding defeat they had a few days ago on an off election year, the insane turnout that is not normally there on off years, literally comparable to the presidential election in some areas. It's like the people are not, they're not stupid. They understand that things are not going well right now, and they are not happy. I mean, we literally had what, like the biggest peaceful protest in US history this year. I think we have a very slim chance still of not letting the entire thing collapse into a dystopian fascist nightmare for the rest of our lives. But it's not going to be easy, and it's definitely not going to be pretty. Because the harder we corner them, the more desperate they'll be, and the worse tactics they'll use to cling on to power and to avoid jail. It's gonna be very rough. I can only hope that we can get through this with the least amount of damage and destruction as possible. But I mean, I think for better and for worse, the country is already destroyed. It's a matter of what path we go from here. Do we reform it to look identical to what it was before, what, like 2016 or something? I don't think I would want that. I would want to take the opportunity to make the country actually good. If they're going to destroy everything, the country already had a lot of flaws Not that I would ever have wanted it to be destroyed in such a chaotic and evil way. I definitely would have wanted the country changed in a more peaceful, like, legal way. Like, we just create laws to make the country better and win with popular support. Not literally let the most psychotic, evil people just be like, well, I don't like the poor, so I'm gonna destroy everything they rely on. I mean, it's already violent. It's just we're not at the point of literal gunfights every single day in the street yet. I mean, we literally have, like, America's new Gestapo, ICE, literally attacking, harassing, and abducting people in the streets, like, right now. Best case scenario, dozens of these politicians get locked up after they leave office. Steve Bannon literally today said, me and a whole bunch of other people, if we lose the 2028 midterm, will be going to jail. Like, they are aware that they need to hang on to power, or else we literally have to send them to prison. I think it's even at the point now where, like, milquetoast Democrats, like, can't just not send these people to prison because the base would literally hang them if they didn't. Like, the base has gone from being very centrist to, like, a lot closer to socialist in just 1 year's time. I can only hope that it keeps progressing that way, because I think that is the best way to fight off and win against these people. We do not need more appeasement of corporations and Israel. We need to be like, what do the people of America actually want? Instead of being like, what does Israel want? What does Walmart want? What does Amazon want? Like, no. I don't care what they want. What about the 99.9% of Americans who want to live life and don't have $1 billion trillion? What do the big investors want? How do we increase shareholder value infinitely forever? The shareholders. The country was in shambles for a while even before that. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I would say ever since at least George W. Bush. But, like, honestly, probably even earlier. As soon as the neoliberalism took over the country, that's when we kind of started becoming cooked. But definitely the current administration and even Trump first term accelerated us towards the point of no return. Yeah, like, even up to 2016, we were very much respected as a world superpower. But I think, especially as of this year, we are now just a complete joke. And our power will never recover. We are going to lose a lot of our power. I mean, I don't really like how the US government uses power to bully and topple other governments. But I did like when we, traded with countries and didn't impose 1 billion% tariffs every other week. Yep. We are literally the most schizophrenic country in the world. Venezuela. Dude, we are We are literally... Like, people in the government are seriously considering bombing inside the country. If not flat out sending troops. Like, what are we doing? What did Venezuela do to us? You can argue that the current leader of Venezuela illegitimately held on to power after losing the last election, arguably. But, like, that's not, like, you don't just topple a government because of that. There's other courses of action that you could do that are way more sane and normal that every other country would do. Like, you know, literally, like, just, you could do, I mean, you could do tariffs, but, like, you could, like, sanctions and whatever, or just not trading with them as much. You don't need to bomb them and bomb fishermen boats outside of their coastal waters. They're literally bombing random fishermen. And I forget how many boats they've bombed now. It's probably like 20. Literal just random fishermen that did nothing wrong. It's like, okay. Which, by the way, is a war crime. And is against international law, but... I mean, of course, this administration doesn't care about that. Oh, yeah. Our Supreme Court literally said the president has full immunity for all of his actions as the president. It's just a distraction. I think it's a distraction, but there is also, like, the aspect of wanting Venezuela's resources and such. Yeah, I think the American populace, or at least enough of the American populace, is waking up to the fact that these people are truly psychotic. And it's basically just George W. Bush on steroids. And man, I don't even want to think about what's going to happen if and when the AI bubble pops in this country. I forget what the exact number is, but I think it's somewhere in the 60 to even up to 80% of the US's GDP in 2025 is literally AI related, which is psychotic. Like, we are looking at minimum recession, possible depression, if that pops. Saw a news post about how Silicon Valley thinks it's gonna pop soon. I think most people think it's gonna pop. There is absolutely no way that AI is this valuable and worth this much. If you remove AI bubble from the calculation, GDP growth is at 0.1%. Yeah, I mean, I literally heard it's something like 60 to 80% of our actual GDP growth this year is literally AI. So it's like AI literally is our economy. We are regressing otherwise. Or at least completely stagnant. We are definitely trying our best to become barbecue chicken. When your country's GDP growth is literally just speculation. Yeah, it's messed up. Look, I already knew in my lifetime that America was not gonna be the best country to live in. But, like, I never could have imagined that the people would decide, what if we just accelerated it 10 plus times? and just speedrun our demise rather than let it coast for like 100 years. Just give us 5 more minutes, we'll figure out how to make money from this. Trust us. The problem is they're trying to make advanced autocomplete into a problem-solving tool. I do think there is some merit to AI. I think the technology can be something of like a next step in advancement, but there is absolutely no way the current AI we have, which is the advanced autocomplete, that is not worth anywhere near what we have it currently valued as. The only thing that I've seen that legitimately like actually seems terrifying is like the like Sora 2 thing that makes pretty convincing AI videos. At least compared to what we've seen in the past. Like you can still tell, but it's starting to get hard, man. But I still don't think even that is worth anywhere near the amount that the speculation is currently at. Yeah. There's just absolutely no way. You're somewhere that even if you spend the highest amount that OpenAI charges for any of their services, they sell it to you at a loss. Ugh. Yeah. You saw an AI video this morning that you knew was AI, but you couldn't even point out anything in the video to prove it. That's how I feel like the like Sora 2 type stuff is starting to feel, where it's like, you know it's AI, but it's starting to become hard to actually point at exactly what it is. Aside from, like, just that can't happen in reality. If it's something obviously fictional. AI will be good for specific use cases. I agree on that. Small specialized AIs for specific industries, but big AIs that try to be everything at the same time will fail. Yeah, I think that's the stuff that's gonna pop, but that's also the stuff that literally is propping up the US economy. And that's what I'm worried about. It's bleak. How you doing, Juicy? Aside from depressing AI. Maybe 2 to 3 years from now. I don't know when it'll pop. I just hope it's not so, like, I hope it's not this year, because I am not ready for that to happen. The longer, well, okay, the problem with that logic though is the longer it'll take to pop, the harder we fall. So maybe that's actually a bad idea to delay it as much as we can. Because that's kind of what they're doing already, right? Oh man, it's cooked. We're cooked. We're barbecue chicken. Met up with a certain score farmer and bought him lunch. Who'd you meet? I love score farmers. You every day. True. Me when I listen to the news and news podcasts every day, hearing about the latest and worst thing ICE did and Trump did and the GOP did, and how AI is getting scarier and also the economy is gonna crash and people aren't getting food. Yeah. Good friend who's #2 USA score. Oh, yeah. Just a friend. Just a good buddy of yours. Don't look at the score difference between number 2 USA and number 1 USA. Pal, perhaps. Turn on your TV, you totally won't doom at all. At this point, doom scroll is going to be less doom-inducing than reading US news. Unfortunately, I am very autistic and passionate about learning about what's going on in the country. So I literally cannot turn off the news and politics. So I will continue consuming, even if it makes me really sad. It definitely was AI and definitely didn't happen on Tuesday at 8:11 p.m. It's AI, it's fake news, the liberal hoax. And you know, they say, drunk driving is good actually. A beer a day keeps the light pole away, as they say. It's true. The downside of actually caring about things. I do think it helps that because I'm so obsessed about this kind of thing, it does stop me from experiencing the worst of the depression. Because if I wasn't around to consume the content, then I don't know how to word it, but like I gotta be alive to consume the content, or else that's sadder to me than letting it get to me. I don't want to be ignorant as much as I can. I do think though, for most normal people, is that not FOMO? I think it's more like I feel like it is responsible for me to be informed about what's going on, especially as a person who is unfortunately now feeling like a target of the state. I feel like it would be foolish for me to not consume media. But I do think for most normal people, you don't need to consume it in the way that I do, which is literally looking at it every single time I get a free moment in my day. I do think it is better to just kind of once a day or once every other day just kind of see what's going on. But not obsess over it to the point of letting it destroy your life and mental. Because it is bleak, but you can still live and enjoy your life day to day, even with the destruction of everything around you. It's all relative, after all. We have to get woker than ever before. Hey, woke did pretty good at the elections a few days ago. Just saying. The people are in fact waking up. You're only following more general rules because you're not from the US, right? I mean, unfortunately, because of how psychotic the US is, sometimes you just need to see what they're doing to make sure they're not going after you next. Oh yeah, that's especially true in your case, Ideal, because you guys actually prosecuted your guy who tried to overthrow, or not overthrow, I don't know, do an insurrection. Pokemon woke to the polls. Wait, true. Yeah, God forbid you guys have someone who's even, like, nominally left. Not allowed. I don't know too much about your current leader, but he seems better than the other guy. You have the guy's son trying to get Trump to sanction the entirety of Brazil. So normal, so normal. Your mom asked, explain the word woke. Woke is when something is good. You should have explained it like that. Woke is when something is based and cool. Yeah, I mean, at least you guys didn't let your insurrectionist go back to your equivalent of the White House and destroy the country further. Even if the current guy is not the best. Yeah. Oh well. It is what it is. I think all we can do now is just keep ourselves informed, keep ourselves motivated, realize that despite all the bad things that have happened so far this year, we got a nice glimmer of hope in the last few days. So we gotta keep the fight going. We gotta keep the hope alive. And I'm certainly not gonna give up hope. It would be foolish too. I do not want to give any type of leniency to the guys in charge. They do not deserve it. I think that is a more reasonable explanation of woke. I probably would have just said woke is like policies if they were good. It's like believing things that are actually good for the people rather than psychotic and bad. The US managed to survive Ronald Reagan. You guys can survive Ronald Reagan V2. The problem is that Ronald Reagan was basically, in retrospect, just a neoliberal compared to the current administration. Like, yeah, Reagan helped usher in the terrible era of politics that we are in, but this current administration is so much worse. And much more dangerous, too. Woke is such a poison term because of the internet and celebrities. Absolutely. Ronald Reagan in a mech suit. That's more like it. I can only hope that the people have so much power that no matter what these people do, they can't stop from the people, like, they can't stop the people revolting and being like, enough is enough. I mean, there's way more of us than them. Look, I'm just saying, if 1 million people descended on Washington, D.C. on the White House lawn, They can't stop all of you. Just saying, just saying. Hashtag just saying. Hypothetically in Roblox, to cover my bases. In Minecraft. No, our literal FBI actually understands what in Minecraft means. They literally had to write a document about it. So how about that airline food? What airline food? There's no air traffic controllers to let us fly. There's no airline food. Sorry, I'll stop yelling. Yeah, but the food. What food? The FBI should release the files in Minecraft. Dude, imagine the Epstein files coming out as an OSU map file. Like it's like storyboarded. This would be epic. Just get a kid on Discord to hack into their database. True. The FBI hands you the files in Minecraft and it's a signed book. True. I mean, it's still kind of insane that it happened in a red part of Utah rather than, like, Chicago or something like that. It definitely made it a lot harder to make a pretense to invade blue cities. But I mean, yeah. Utah! Ooh! It's true. People think Kirk's wife and JD are involved. Okay, it's the way that JD held her that really raises red flags. Like, you don't hold friends like that. You don't do that. That's not normal. I have never held a person by their waist as a friend. That's so weird. But of course, these people are weird, so maybe that is normal to them. Bunch of weird, psychotic people. I mean, he also said his wife... He hopes his wife converts to Christianity. Like, lol. 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 Because, I mean, for those who are not aware, his wife is not white and not Christian. Yeah. Yeah, surely it'll work. Dude, it's the fact that he literally could not defend, like, he's not willing to defend his wife and kids. He wants to be the president so bad he is willing to throw anyone and everyone under the bus. Also, Pisonia is definitely the Donald Trump of mappers. Well, actually, no. I think he would have to be Harry Truman, realistically. I mean, Harry Truman was the one to release the bomb. Sorry, drop the bomb. As you know. Low-key, this might be ignorant, but you wonder if a lot of mixed faith marriages are like that and people just don't say it publicly. I think people who are immature probably believe exactly that. But there's definitely mature people out there that wouldn't be that way. But I don't doubt that there are marriages out there that function exactly like that. Like, oh, I mean, it's essentially the same thing as being like, I can fix her or I can fix him. But just with religion instead of like a personality trait, you know? It's like, really? You think so? I don't know about that. That would only work on someone who's like basically on the fence already and just needs a good argument to hop the fence, basically. But otherwise, someone who's a true believer, I don't think could be convinced through marriage alone. You've been realizing people's relationships with religion are really complicated and vary a lot? Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think you can fix, quote unquote, fix someone like that. I don't think that's really a thing or happens very often. Like I said, I think someone has to already be thinking about it for it to be possible. I don't think you'd be able to convince someone who's been in the religion and actually believes in it to even consider that just because of marriage alone. I'm sure that doesn't stop people, though. You think an atheist with someone who's spiritual could work if they don't try to change one another? I think, yeah. I think that's absolutely possible. But it's just hard because being an atheist and being spiritual are kind of at odds with one another. So for that to be a compatible relationship would be challenging. You would have to really like each other for that to be not a deal breaker or something that would be an eventual point of tension. Yeah. I mean, obviously there's people out there that marry and enjoy the company of people who don't align with them even close to 100% on things. But at a certain point, there's some things that just become too impossible to bridge the gap to make a functional relationship. Like, I think religion would probably be one of those things that is very hard to just look past, considering how many people are very adamant about their religious beliefs being correct or being like the right one. People are allowed to believe whatever they want, but that doesn't mean you will be compatible with everyone you want. You are free to believe that your religion is the only and best one and correct. But that just means I'm probably not going to vibe with you very much. Or at least I definitely wouldn't marry someone like that. I would at most be tolerant of you, but I definitely would not be like, you are my best friend, or you are gonna be in my inner circle of people that I really enjoy. Because, I mean, there are people in my life who are like this, but it's not like, You don't have to cut them off. You just, they're just not going to be the people you rely on the most or have involved in your life day to day necessarily. It's a little different with family, I guess, but of course, family is also very complicated as well. I can attest to that. Can melt into politics. Oh yeah, especially in this country, politics and religion are very hard to separate, if inseparable at this point. I feel like you're not going to meet very many democratic socialists who are strong evangelical Christians. Not to say you can't be religious and also be a democratic socialist. I mean, the newly elected mayor of New York City could probably tell you that, but it's definitely one of those things that in this country, the more political or the more religious you are, the more right leaning you tend to be, and vice versa. At least on average. Of course, plenty of exceptions, as with anything in this country and in life. You understand why people are seeking for religious guidance instrument for their moral compass. It just removes the stressful part of their lives. But hardcore religious people have no moral compass in most cases, trying to justify everything with religion. Yeah. Here in Brazil, we basically have the following rule. There are 3 things you shouldn't talk about. Politics, religion, and football. Yeah. But yeah, Dedro, I can agree a lot with that. I do think there are absolutely exceptions. I have met some very religious people in my life who actually are good people. But I've also met and known some really strongly religious people who are some of the worst people I've known in my life. Or at least very hard to work with. Doesn't domestic violence increase during the Super Bowl or any other tourneys? I've never thought about that. That's sad if true. But yeah, I mean, even in this country, the stereotype, especially since like 2016, has been you do not talk about politics at the dinner table, like especially at Thanksgiving and Christmas. I think politics is the #1 thing to not talk about with family. Religion too, but I think politics has become the #1 thing you do not like talk about without trying to start an argument. Yeah. But with how divisive our politics is in this country, it's no surprise that has basically become a topic you should just avoid at all costs with family. You've heard news reports about chaotic street gatherings after big sports tournaments in certain American cities. Dude, people in like Philadelphia will literally burn down the city after they win or lose. It doesn't even matter if you win or lose, you're just going to burn down your city after a sports event. That's the rule, or at least you're going to knock down a few light poles. Bare minimum. It absolutely happens, and it's usually with American football. The one thing to talk about at the dinner table, good food. There's gonna be some dude saying that at the dinner table while they're yelling about politics at the table. You just chime in being like, this food is so good, guys. You gotta get in on this. Your family misinterprets you discussing things as an argument for you judging when you're literally not trying to, yeah. This turkey is too woke. These mashed potatoes are liberal communist potatoes. They're not the good old-fashioned Idaho potatoes. On a scale of communism to right-wing fascism, where does cranberry sauce lie? Is it woke or is it Nazism? What are we thinking? Nazi? Man, you know, that word, by the way, Nazi, you literally could just say that like 10 years ago and no one would care at all. Now you say that word and people on the right side of the spectrum will actually start foaming at the mouth, being like, how dare you? How dare you label us correctly? But like you used to be able to say like just calling anything Nazi, like that used to just be like completely accepted, especially online like 10 plus years ago. No one cared. Like, you would even say, like, grammar Nazi, and no one would bat an eye. They'd be like, yeah, that just means you're really strict on grammar. That doesn't mean you are a literal right-wing Nazi. The ray also foams at the mouth and you bite them. That's true. As a bat, you would cause that. Even so we use the term Nazi modding often. Yeah, I literally used to... Dude, people literally used to call someone who is on the OSU staff, a German, a Nazi. And people are just like, yeah, that's normal, that's fine. I'm talking about LockDev. If you know, you know. But like, yeah, obviously now you would get tarred and feathered for even insinuating anything like that. Not to say that you should be doing that. Obviously, in that case, that's bad. But the broader point I'm getting at is like, at one point, saying that used to just not really mean anything, because like, we didn't have a completely crazy Nazi movement in this country. But all of a sudden, when you have an actual neo-Nazi movement in this country, now you can't say it. If you say that word, you are worse than Hitler. Your grandma's very particular about having a neat and clean home and describes herself as a bed Nazi. That's true. She literally does that. And she's also great. Like, I really like your grandma. She's cool. Low-key, she's more woke than I expected. What's up, Grill? How you doing? We're currently discussing politics, Grill. Just a heads up. That's true. I do feel like the word has lost its punch because of the misuse. But the right wing absolutely attack people for using the word correctly. And it's just like, brother, what else am I supposed to call you when you're literally doing very similar steps to the beginning of that movement? Alright, sounds good, man. Have a good night, Grill. Thank you for stopping by. But yeah. Very peculiar, very peculiar. Banger. True. Also, not to distract from the conversation, guys, but this we've been making good progress on the chunk. Just going along. This one's definitely a lot denser than the last two have been, or even the last three. Anyways, back to the politics. No more looking at the blocks. It's actually kind of insane how autopiloted I've been on the mining. I'm not even... I haven't even registered that I've mined 40 layers of this chunk. I'm on complete autopilot. Yeah, we've literally... we've been discussing politics for the entirety of the uptime of the stream, basically. Yeah. Didn't even feel like it. No, it really didn't. Let's make it daytime. Oh, man. Man, I just got reminded of one of the funniest things I've ever heard. I was just thinking about how Zoran Mamdani won the New York mayoral race, and some right-wing goons were basically like, if he wins, we're gonna go to Florida. And it's like, why are you threatening us with a good time? Do it. Please leave. We do not want you here if you if you really feel that way. We'll have actual normal people in the city instead of you weirdos. Like, take all of your blood-soaking money and leave. It's just so strange. It's so silly to say that. Like, also, really? You're gonna leave New York City? Yeah, I'm sure you will leave New York City and never come back. One of the most interesting and politically, or not politically, well, yeah, politically, but also just one of the most vibrant cities in the entire country, if not the world. Like, yeah, okay. Like, New York has a lot of problems, especially with affordability, but, like, it also seems like a genuinely really cool city. There's a lot of really interesting things going on there. Don't like this flag, liberal? I'll help you back. Well, if he wins, we're gonna do exactly what you guys want us to do. How about that, huh? But it's also like, I don't think these guys are gonna actually leave New York, or at least they're not gonna completely leave New York forever. Like, the ones that can afford a house in New York and Florida will definitely travel between the two. Because really, you want to live in Florida over New York? That sounds like a terrible time. They'll make some noise when things don't go the way they're programmed to think, and they'll be quiet. Yeah, I mean, it's just so funny. Like, yeah, okay. Whatever you say, man, go do that. We will not miss you. But honestly, I don't even believe that they'll do that. Like, truthfully. The only way New York is going to become a worse place is because of people trying to stop it becoming better. Like, the only reason I think New York could have a bleak future from today is just because they will fight tooth and nail to make sure that someone like Mamdani can't pass the policies that he wants to pass and get done. Or that the government decides to do a full invasion style of New York City because they deem him as a national security threat. I mean, they literally have out in the open discussed deporting him for the crime of being popular and being not from the US. Like, not just deporting him, like, denaturalizing him, too. Like, making him not a citizen anymore, either. It's like, dude, what is wrong with these people? Oh, yeah, especially with how well the election went for the left side of the spectrum. The people are not going to tolerate that type of action. I firmly believe if they try to harm him, the people of New York City will defend him. And God forbid they either deport him or assassinate him, New York City will actually revolt. There is no way that riots don't break out because of that. And it's just so strange because he's not even like actually radical. Like the president called him communist. He's at most like a socialist. He even describes himself as a democratic socialist. Like he literally just wants basic welfare programs for the city of New York and things to be paid for by the government a little bit more. Not even like fully letting the government like control the lives of the people or pay for the lives of everyone. It's literally just making it better. Like his entire agenda is literally just a few basic things like free buses. Like that's not going to cost New York City very much considering it's one of the wealthiest cities in the entire world. Like they can afford that. It's kind of funny that US became such a bureaucratic nightmare to do anything good for good people in power. Oh yeah, I mean unfortunately that's going to actually be probably one of the problems for someone like Mamdani where The system has been set up to be so bureaucratic and stupid and unchanging that he will have to literally reshape, if not the laws, at least how the laws function in the city of New York, just to get anything done. Because the system is designed in a way to not make things better. It's to stop progress from happening and stop good things for people. It's just really strange that there's a political movement in this country that's against the person that says he wants to make universal child care free. Like, oh my god, that is the worst policy I've ever heard. We should vote against this guy and deport him. Like, really? These people are serious? I just don't understand how that's a serious political movement where you can believe such things and not be just laughed out of the room and have 0.1% of the vote. It just doesn't make any sense to me, man. Like, I obviously do understand how we got to this point, but it's just so weird not being in that bubble and just being like, guys, what? Same kind of people who stop having value in human life after they lose the fetus status. Legit. They won't be able to make money on it. As simple as that. Shareholder value. It must increase forever and ever. Infinite growth for the shareholders. Line must go up, never down. Man. Oh, I think the song died. But yeah. What a great system we have. They pulled the plug on the song, true. I think one thing that gives me hope is that because of my age, I have literally never lived in a good country. My country has literally never been good for as long as I've lived. Like, I was born in 99, so like right at the end of the Clinton years. I mean, Clinton is like whatever. And then we had George W. Bush, and that guy in his administration was awful. And also moronic. And then we had Obama. He, to me, is very divisive. He obviously not nearly as bad as W, but still did a lot of things that were not good, like bailing out the banks instead of people who were having their homes foreclosed on, and not arresting and charging the people who let the financial crash happen, and the war criminals of the George W. Bush administration. And then obviously Trump. And then Biden. Biden, unfortunately, has been the best president in my lifetime. And he was still awful. Especially on foreign policy. Domestically, he was like a C. Foreign policy, F. Failure. And then, obviously, Trump's second term, we don't even need to discuss. We already know how we feel about this. Yeah, if you're trans, you should probably not come to the US. It's as simple as that. Honestly, if you're not white and Christian, you should not come to the US right now. I'll say this. As someone who's in a spot where I cannot financially or comfortably leave the US, I think, like, obviously it's scary, but I do think I have a responsibility, despite being a person of interest of the government, that I have to fight back, even if it's scary. At the very least, I have to be critical. I cannot be completely silent, and I will not be completely silent. It's like, look, if I'm gonna be a target, I may as well not make it easy for them, right? I don't have the option to leave, I have to fight. What else am I supposed to do, you know? And especially with the swing to the left the country is experiencing, I feel more emboldened to actually believe that. I feel hopeful and I feel energized and I feel like there is a chance, even if it's not good. People fight the hardest when they're cornered. It's true of the left, it's true of the right. The more we corner them, the more they'll fight too. The only difference is that they're fighting for the wrong things. And we have to make sure that we don't let that win. And it's not like they don't know. They are fully aware they're doing the wrong things and that they're bad people. They don't actually in private pretend that they're good people. Or at least most of them don't. I mean, literally, again, Steve Bannon said today that if they lose the midterms, they're all going to jail. He knows everything they're doing is illegal and unconstitutional. And extremely unpopular at that, too. See, it would be a whole nother can of worms if the administration completely broke the Constitution and ignored all the courts, but they did it to give us universal health care and give us universal basic income. I could let that slide. I would be like, well, it's not good that they broke literally all of the laws to do that, but it's kind of base that they gave us healthcare and income, so maybe I could let that slide. No, of course. Every time governments break the Constitution, it's never for the good of the people. It's always for the worst outcome. That's what it seems to be a repeat of every time in history. If not immediately, it seems eventually. That's what happens. Yeah. It's always for your own self-interest and what you want. And now they want to rewrite what's in the books and ban them. Not that they weren't already trash, but yeah. I mean, one piece of good news that I heard was that in Oklahoma, they tried adding the Ten Commandments to be like in every classroom, but I think a court literally struck it down and was like, this is unconstitutional. But it's just psychotic that it's like in a theoretically, no, not theoretically, this is supposed to be a secular nation. That they are trying to invite things like the Ten Commandments and the Bible into schools. Public schools, by the way. That's the key difference. In public schools in a secular nation, they are trying to invite Christianity. Like, you obviously should teach about religions, but you don't like endorse a religion as a secular nation. But of course, this country has a very complicated and deep connection with religion, despite being a theoretically secular nation. Seeing a woman complaining their child was taught sex ed in 5th grade. Oh boy. It's like, okay, you want them to just not know anything and then they have a child in high school? Like, okay. Sure. That's what you really want. I think that was 2 veins combined into 1. It felt unusually large for a diamond vein. Put the commandments, but don't teach about puberty. Yeah, I mean, the US is literally so prudish, despite being the freest nation in the world, TM. We are an insanely prudish country. We don't allow swearing on TV. Teaching sex ed is apparently a sin. And advertisers want nothing to do with anything. They are highly allergic of any cursing, even for like YouTube ads. If someone swears in the first like 10 seconds of a video, you may as well kiss any AdSense money goodbye. It's like the amount of prudishness in this country is quite baffling. Again, free country, right? Oh yeah, we are absolutely. I feel like we're a lot like. Maybe you would know better than me, but I feel like there's parallels with like how the Soviet Union fell and the Russian Federation kind of became an oligarchy, and we're kind of heading down that same path where there's a non-zero chance that we balkanize ourselves into like either red or blue or like sections. And then also, I mean, we're already kind of an oligarchy. Just who knows how much worse it's gonna be if we don't stop it. I feel like we are definitely looking a lot more like Russia than like a free nation. Oh, and I'm sure the guy who's in charge of Russia could not be more delighted. I'm sure he is pleased at this outcome. Also, thank you for sending a song by Thursday. I almost forgot what day it was. Really hope these guys don't bother me right at the end here. Oh, I lost track of where I was digging for a second. Oops. Time loss. Okay, honestly, this chunk wasn't even that dense. Either that or I was literally like hyper efficient. I honestly have not paid attention if there was air pockets or anything. But I feel very efficient today since we've been so focused on just discussing stuff. I was in the zone, absolutely. It's so much easier for me to just mine efficiently when I'm not actually forced to think about the mining. We should chat about this stuff more. I mean, I'm always up for chatting. It's just I'm not really good at starting that when literally no one's talking in the chat, you know, classic dead chat. But yeah, if you guys ever want to just ask questions or talk about stuff, I'm open to that most days. Really free country from 1994 to 2014. Okay. I thought that shift happened a lot sooner in the history of Russia than when it actually happened, I suppose. But yeah, definitely with that guy, your country has devolved, to say the least. Try not to bring it up since it stresses people out usually. Yeah. I mean, I think most of the people who watch me are pretty agreeable on this type of thing. Evidently, it seems. Yeah, perhaps, but that's the thing. Even if you're not as informed, that's okay. Like, I feel like we're at the point now where, like, bringing people in to get more informed or at least understand, like, we don't have to live in a backwards country. I think that is a good thing. But yeah, okay. I see. I guess I just didn't know the timeline of exactly how soon Russia went from, you know, coming out of the Soviet Union to becoming an oligarchy. I would have assumed it would be immediate because that would be like the most opportune time, but I guess in reality it was a little different. I mean, now that I think about it, I feel like there was even a point where we tried to be like pretty friendly with Russia in the 90s. You know, until that one guy. Oh, man. Anyways, I think we should leave it at that, considering I'm almost done with the chunk, and I'll have to hop off the stream as soon as I finish. But yeah, this was a good conversation. I enjoyed this. I feel validated knowing that there are people that view the world more like me, rather than the completely psychotic view of the world that the people in charge have. It doesn't make me feel alone. I mean, obviously I knew that wasn't true, but like, It's nice to have people that I know in this little corner of the world. It's a good thing. Just know, guys, if something happens to me, I would say if I disappear for more than a month without saying anything, just assume I've been kidnapped. As weird as that sounds, I am putting it out there that I am not going to just randomly disappear without saying anything. That's the climate we live in. I mean, I just also have to say it because I'm not a white Christian male. So I got a target on my head. I'll try to stay out of trouble, but... I would say there's equal risk between us both. I think, unfortunately, we just happen to have a really unlucky combination of having a target on our head. Yeah. I love living in a dystopia. It's so fun. Anyways, less dystopian. We mined another chunk! Yippee! Yippee! Let me make sure I'm counting these right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16! We've mined 16 chunks. We've mined a fourth of a stack of chunks. Very nice. I'll probably end up... Let me see which one I'm... Wait, hold on. Hold on. Before I leave... I want to see what this is looking like now from right here. Ooh, okay, so that means this one's next. This pattern is starting to look cool. Okay. This one's next. But that will be for tomorrow. Let me update my counter, because I keep forgetting to do that at the end of the stream. That's why I had to count how many chunks I mined. 16! Very nice. Yeah, just till first layer of bedrock. I think that's a natural point to conclude. It makes the most sense. Because breaking bedrock legitimately in this game is impossible. You have to use glitches and bugs to do that. So, yeah. But anyways, I gotta depart for the night. I appreciate you guys watching and chatting today. I will be back tomorrow night. One more nighttime stream. And then my work weekend arrives. Oh man, that's gonna be awesome. Maybe some actual daytime streaming for once. Okay. Good night. Goodbye. See you guys then.